Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. Today we're diving into the twisted world of Russian political theater, where the latest act features a terror attack in Dagestan, a federative republic within Russia. The blame game, of course, kicked off with a flourish, with the local State Duma deputy quickly pointing fingers at Ukrainian intelligence and NATO countries because, naturally, that's the safest answer in Putin's Russia.
Охуеть, тут пиздец, что творится.
And enter Dmitry Medvedev, the former president turned Kremlin clown who never misses a chance to spout off nonsense. Medvedev, in his infinite wisdom, linked the Dagestan attack to events on the Crimean Peninsula, where Russians shot down a Ukrainian missile over a crowded beach. Meanwhile, Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov also chimed in, calling the incident a despicable provocation. Well, isn't that rich coming from a man whose definition of a quiet weekend involves a bit of old-fashioned torture? Medvedev didn't stop there, of course. He took to his keyboard, presumably after a couple of drinks, and declared that this is not a military operation, but a vile and despicable act of terrorism against our people. Blame-wise, he lumped together American authorities, the Kiev regime, and what he called insane fanatics, saying that there's no difference between them, because nothing screams rational analysis like a drunken rant. But let's not forget Russia's rhetoric has been a beacon for religious fundamentalists, encouraging them to act out. It's the old "he who sows the wind shall reap the whirlwind" scenario. Just last week, ISIS-linked prisoners in a Rostov prison staged a riot, taking guards hostage. And right before the attack in Dagestan, a local TV outlet showed footage of a departmental meeting in counter-terrorist measures.
Заседание прошло под руководством заместителя директора ФСБ России, заместителя председателя антитеррористического комитета Игоря Сируткина, а также главы республики Сергея Меликова. Выступающие отметили важность укрепления систем безопасности в связи с ежегодно увеличивающимся турпотоком в Дагестан.
According to the latest reports from the United States think tank Institute for the Study of War, the attacks in Dagestan were likely carried out by the Islamic State's North Caucasus affiliate. They targeted Orthodox Jewish places of worship as well as a security service facility. So while Medvedev and Kadyrov spin their tales of external threats and despicable provocations, it's worth noting that the real provocateurs are often much closer to home. The Kremlin's own actions and rhetoric have stoked these flames, and now they're struggling to blame anyone but themselves. It's a tragic yet predictably absurd chapter in the ongoing saga of Russian politics. And now we're moving across the globe. You see, Vietnam's military is mostly equipped with old Soviet gear, relics from a time when Russia was their go-to arms dealer. In fact, at the start of the century, a whopping 80% of Vietnam's weaponry come from Russia. That's right, back when VHS tape was still a thing, Russia was happily shipping crates of guns and tanks to Vietnam. Fast forward to today, and things are a little bit more complicated. Experts suggest that Vietnam might still be interested in buying Russian weapon. Makes sense, right? If your army's hardware is one cough away from falling apart, you look for spare parts. But here's the catch. Russia doesn't have weapons to spare. They're too busy playing whack-a-mole with their own geopolitical messes, and crucially, they don't want to take off China. Yes, Russia, the grand arms dealer, is now like that guy at a garage sale who promises that he has what you need, but keeps finding reasons not to sell it. I would love to sell you this missile, but my neighbor China might get upset, and you know how they can be.
Несколько иное содержание вот этого самого договора о всеобъемлющем стратегическом партнерстве. И вот там как раз военная составляющая присутствует. Поэтому пусть наши бывшие партнеры мучаются догадками, терзаются в сомнениях, но ход сделан. И этот ход очень серьезный. И он будет иметь далеко идущие последствия. Поэтому такое у них оживление, поэтому они все это переживают. Дело не в том, что еще контейнер боеприпасов приедет с этой самой Северной Кореи. Контейнером больше, контейнером меньше. Не в этом дело.
Но пусть будет больше.
Пусть будет больше. Лишним не станет. Но вот развитие, в том числе военно-технического сотрудничества, оно очень важно. Поэтому очень интересное время развивается. И дальше надо слушать, что скажет наш президент Владимир Владимирович на пресс-конференции, а этим остается только скрежетать зубами. Ну и в завершение, наверное, один совет Трампу. Ему до дебатов надо сделать две вещи. Первое, проехаться где-то на мотоцикле, хотя бы на трицикле, чтобы совсем не рисковать. А самое главное, поехать в Техас, одеть на себя ковбойскую шляпу и залезть на лошадь. Самому залезть. Тогда у Байдена, поверьте, нет шансов никаких.
Это просто нож в спину для Байдена, если Дональд залезет на лошадь.
And as for Vietnam, well, they're eyeing these dusty Soviet relics with a mix of nostalgia and horror, thinking, do we really want to get on the wrong side of Western sanctions just for some outdated Kalashnikovs? Because let's be real, getting sanctioned by the West these days is like being unfriended on social media by everyone who matters. So what we have here is a classic tale of a relationship strained by external pressure and internal shortages. Russia wants to sell, Vietnam wants to buy, but China and the West are overbearing in-laws, making things awkward at every turn. In the end, this weapon-fueled bromance is looking less like a strategic alliance and more like a shaky game of geopolitical Jenga. One wrong move and it all comes tumbling down. And that, my friends, is both the beauty and the tragedy of international relations in our modern world. Russians are constantly trying to come up with new lies to try and paint the government in Kyiv in a bad light. Of particular interest are fakes about President Volodymyr Zelensky. Why? Well, first of all, to solve internal division in Ukraine, and second, so that foreign politicians stop trusting the Ukrainian government. Today, we'll show you one such case in detail. In early June 2024, accounts on X began spreading a claim that President Zelensky purchased the Vuni Palace Casino Resort and Hotel in Cyprus back in May, amid his country's intense battle against Russian military occupation. The claim was disseminated by multiple accounts with tens of thousands of subscribers each, and for some of them, it wasn't their first instance of spreading Russian propaganda. Others just repeated the claim without bothering to check their source. So to verify what's real and what's not here, journalists first set out to check whether the Vuni Palace Hotel in northern Cyprus had recently been sold, or is it still belonging to Oscar Ltd., the last known owner of the resort. A now deleted article, which first claimed the casino was being operated by Film Heritage Inc., a company linked to Zelensky, was based off information from a website apparently owned by the Vuni Palace Casino Resort and Hotel. The website listed Film Heritage Inc. in some of the registration fields, suggesting some sort of ownership or at least a relationship. But the website looked kind of strange. It was available only in English, and the Cyprus Investigative Reporting Network soon discovered the domain had been registered on May 29th, just days before the first source made the Zelensky claim. Additional investigation soon revealed that the actual official Vuni Palace Casino and Hotel website was already online and using a complete different address. So even a cursory look is enough to realize how different the two websites actually look. The claim that Zelensky purchased a luxury resort in Cyprus during the ongoing war with Russia is utterly false. This claim was shared online without checking and was based on information gathered from a false website. And furthermore, the actual owners of the hotel spoke with the media after the claim surfaced online and plainly denied that it had been sold. So yes, once again, we'd like to remind you to check whatever information you get online. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.